Can you please on your mic?
Yeah. Hi.
So, how are you?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Dr. Shelley. And before starting your session, I want to introduce you to our audience. Shelley is a pharmacist, innovator, and award-winning community leader known for co-founding 𝐕𝐈𝐑𝐓𝔂 an app designed to streamline pharmacy insurance billing, and improve drug access through RX MedMatch. She also co-founded 𝐒𝐒𝐞𝐬𝐶, a non-profit supporting over 100 students in Jamaica and Canada with scholarships and school supplies. Shelley's inspiring journey includes overcoming diverse and health challenges while raising 3 children and rebuilding her life. Her achievements have been recognized with honors such as the Queen's 75th Platinum Jubilee Pin and the Leg Up Tech Innovation Award. She is a sought-after speaker across Canada on topics including innovation, mental wellness, diversity, and resilience. You have done really great job, Dr. Shelley, and the stage is all yours.
Okay. Thank you all for gathering here today and sharing the space with me. I know it's very early here. Your presence makes this moment meaningful, and it's my hope that the insights shared will spark inspiration, upliftment, and motivation to move you closer to the life you envision. I do suggest grabbing a pen and paper because we're going to have a little bit of homework. Okay, well, in the next 20 minutes or so, you'll explore 4 pillars that can transform any journey: freedom, gratitude, joy, and dreams. They transform me. Picture these pillars as supports of a strong, enduring home, one that stands firm through life's storms. This analogy honors a legacy passed down from my father, who not only built the house I grew up in, but also gave me a foundation of resilience and creativity. So in this Zoom session, please use your chat, your reactions, so we can have your reactions. There'll be a poll at the very end. I don't have any slides. You're just going to look at me today. But before we begin, maybe put in the chat something that you would like to take away from this session today. Let's see if anybody has any ideas what they can take away from the session today. Do we have any? Hello, everybody. Thank you. Everybody's so cheery this morning. Everybody's up and ready to go. Great to see you. So let's begin by painting the scene and understanding why context shapes every journey. Imagine waking up in minus 32 degrees Celsius, okay? Well, that's minus 25 Fahrenheit for any Americans. 5 hours north of Toronto in the northern mining community, Sudbury, nicknamed Nickel City. Here, the earth yields nickel, and every sunrise demands grit. In this environment, the lessons of hard work, perseverance, and community become obvious. As one of only 5 or so Black students and a female to boot in a school of about 400, you learn to bridge worlds. Remarks like, "You're not like those other Black people," although I'm the only Black person they know, and "you must be twice as good to get half as far." And I know women hear that in general. These can either limit your potential or ignite your ambition. Choose
It's Dr. Shelley. Hello. Hello, Dr. Shelley. I think she has a network issue. Please wait for a few minutes. Hello, Dr. Shelley.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no issues. Please continue your presentation.
Okay, if you can't see me, that's okay. You saw me once.
No,
So, can you
it's
hear me?
loading. Yeah, your voice is clear, but your this.
Yeah, my thing is still is loading.
Yeah, I think there is a network issue. I think.
Okay, well, you can hear me, so I'll go on until the camera pops in.
Yeah, your voice
So
is clear. Yeah, your
okay,
voice.
perfect. We'll keep going. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So after I said after going to school and you're on your way to university with all these accolades, doesn't matter. A rocky road can still often lie ahead, regardless. When major life crossroads arrive, perhaps acceptance into a top doctoral program or an unexpected change in family circumstances, you may wish for a guiding word of wisdom. So, is there one piece of advice somebody gave you that helped you out? I would love to see that in the chat. Let me see if hopefully you can hear me. You talked about freedom, gratitude, and joy. I'm curious. Thank you, Cindy. Have you have your vision on how you to experience more joy? Well, that's what we're going to do, Cindy. We're going to get, before you can have joy, you have to have freedom. So that's the path I took. So engagements, like I said, engagements of the heart and family can test even the strongest resolve. From relationships that wear on your spirit that may even crush your soul, to health challenges that test you to your very core. These experiences forge resilience, and recognizing how they shape you is key to transforming adversity into a foundation of growth. Not allowing anyone to steal your joy is paramount. Now that we've set the stage, let's explore how community and resources can rebuild a strong foundation. By stepping away from my relationship and family unit while navigating the trials of co-parenting 3 children, made leaving to paint a picture, a beautiful 5,000 square foot home, complete with elevator, pool, and cabana. It feels like a radical leap just into the unknown to let all that go. Yet sometimes saving your soul demands bold sacrifices. Picture yourself holding your own front door key and stepping into a cozy, safe space. This simple act reclaims your freedom and marks the first step into your reconstruction journey. Every rebuilding effort thrives with the community, like family and friends, especially my mother, who was and is my unwavering anchor, and amazing friends who refuse to let me sink, healthcare and mental health professionals, partners in diagnosing, treating, and strengthening the mind as surely as the body. Recent studies have shown that 1 in 5 adults will experience a mental health condition each year, underscoring the need for strong support networks. Community programs, there are groups and services that lend practical and emotional support, but you have to look for them. And just as medical care is physical conditions are unquestioned, mental health deserves the same respect. It's a principle I emphasize with every patient I work with as a pharmacist. Does anybody have any supports that they might want to put in the chat? Ladies, let's get this chat going. It's a little, would love to hear from you. Hello, everybody. Fatima, Yana, Mackenzie. Everybody, Karen, Zainab, Evelyn, Karen, another Karen, Mary. Would love to hear from you guys. With a solid foundation in place, let's celebrate the milestones that emerge when transformations take root. Looking at the building blocks of your future, you should be thankful for what you have, and sometimes more importantly, for what you don't have. Because when toxic constraints fall away, when toxic people are removed from your life, the full spectrum of potential unfolds. In my life, a few things changed after a 12-year hiatus, more like a 20-year. But BJ mentioned those earlier, my co-founding of a non-for-profit, 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐿, where we help kids in Jamaica and Canada. My app development, I know nothing about computers, as you can see with my technical difficulty right now, but I was still able to solve a problem, which came from my father's creativity, and help drug shortages and patients across Canada. Like real estate ventures, we're trying to use the property as an engine for growth and community impact. I've also created these 4 inspirational journals that are available on Amazon, and reversed printed pillar t-shirts. So the one I'm wearing today that you can't see, it says "Joy is my revolution." The thing is, when you stand in the mirror, you can read it. And when you're walking down the street, they can't. You know why? Because that affirmation is for you and you alone. Also, I was luckily awarded several volunteer community leadership awards. I was presented with the 75th Queen Jubilee Pin, honored among Canada's 100 accomplished Black women in 2024, and recognized by the pharmacy industry for pioneering innovations. These achievements prove that choosing yourself first unlocks doors once unimaginable. Doors I wasn't even allowed to dream about in the past, but now it's your time to dream. So you can just take a moment to silently reflect on one milestone you've reached that even surprised you. You can add it to the chat if you'd like. And I've kind of used this parts roadmap, you look at the point, anchor, reflection, technique, and suggestions. These kind of, I guess it's being a lifelong student. I like direction. So our first point, it's a Jamaican proverb. It's better to be hungry and free than well-fed and chained. I took that to heart. That one really hit me, especially when you're leaving this beautiful, in quote unquote, looks like a beautiful environment, but it's not. But it was better to leave that opulence and be free. Psychology Today attributed about 50% of our happiness to genes. But do you know what? 40% was associated with freedom of personal choice. So that's how we get to joy. We have to have personal freedom. This underscores how crucial the sense of autonomy and is to our well-being. My example is leaving a long-term toxic relationship where criticism and control felt like chains. on my voice and my spirit. This marked my first taste of freedom. Have you ever been limited by someone else's expectations? How might reframing that limitation be your motivation for your next move? Technique. You swap, of course, you got to swap every if in your self-talk with when. My son calls this no-full thinking because you know you're going to do it. How you do that? You got to build a BAD network, a BAD network. You've got to build connections before you need them. That's another Jamaican proverb. Seek a friend before you need a friend. You got to affirm your worth daily. You got to be determined to persist. Moreover, you got to set boundaries to protect your energy. So maybe list 3 people who uplift you and reach out to one today. That's your freedom homework. Now we have gratitude, where I said you got to be thankful for what you have and don't have. Harvard Health Online states that gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. And one way to achieve and reflect on that happiness is through journaling, for example. After leaving constant negative pressure, I learned from my mother to view even small blessings, like the sunlight on your face, the ability to wake up every morning, or a kind word given to you, as a reason to rejoice. What's one small thing that you're grateful for right now? I'm grateful for you guys being here and listening to me. And see, when I said that, I smiled. Can you feel how being grateful uplifts your mood? Well, there's a technique of giving. G, you got a gratitude for journal one blessing every day. Intention, you got to reframe those setbacks as the FAIL acronym, first attempt in learning. Trust me, I've done that a lot. You have to remind yourself your ideas have worth and you have value. And esteem, speak kind words to yourself, because again, words have power. I can suggest another homework is to maybe write a thank you note to somebody who's made your life a little bit better. Then let's get to joy. That's what Cindy was wondering about. Don't let anyone steal your joy. This was inspired by John 16, verse 22, but it goes for any religion, any person on this earth. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Individuals with higher psychological well-being show a 29% reduced risk of cardiovascular disease over a 10-year period. That's crazy. But this highlights the life-preserving power of positive emotions. I've watched negative energy get sapped from a room, and feeling deflated whenever a toxic person spoke. Breaking free taught me that joy is worth protecting. Who or what chipped away at your joy? How might recognizing that ahead of time might help you guard it more fiercely? Technique, you have to practice emotional detachment. Observe toxic voices without internalizing them. It's kind of like a gray rock. Can somebody give me a reaction in the chat? Because I don't know if you're hearing me. Please and thank you. Challenging negative self-talk by writing counter statements. Oh, thank you, Cindy. By writing down counter statements. Schedule weekly joy rituals, as small as they are, as silly as they are, anything to make you happy. Dance break, creative hobby, drawing, whatever, walking. And I suggest we all have to do this. As women, I think we never take time for ourselves. So, I think we should schedule that in, and maybe we block in 30 minutes for one joyful ritual this week. Think of somebody who radiates joy, maybe jot down some of their habits and look and see if there's some way you can adopt it that fits you. And when you've done freedom, gratitude, and joy, it comes to you. comes to you in your dreams. This is your dream and it's your time. And we have to, they say that about 92% of people who set goals never achieve them, which is a scary percentage. But you have to think 8% do. And what are they doing? They create goals, they create steps to get to that goal. So as they say, goal without action is just a dream, but we're going to turn our dreams into action. What dream have you set aside or waiting for the perfect condition? What's one tiny step can you take towards it today? This technique, again, clarify intentions. You can write them and track your progress. Sometimes if you write them on paper, it's easier to look back. As I said, I have several journals, and one is more ideas than time. So every time I get an idea, it goes in that journal. And then I can look back at it later. It helps you, journaling helps you release stress. You can empty everything, all those negative things on the paper. You put it on paper. You don't have to send anywhere. There's no repercussions. It's just you and the pen and paper. And like I said, you can spark creativity. Sometimes you write things down and it just balloons into other things. So I suggest maybe writing down or thinking about 3 micro steps towards your dream and pick one to start today. So I'm hoping everybody's thought of at least one. I'm not seeing any in the chat, but I would love to see if anybody's had any thoughts so far. So pillars, like I said, they are there to ignite your chapter. As we bring freedom, gratitude, joy, and dream together, let's translate those pillars into actions that ignite your next chapter. We need to reflect and rise so we can sparkle and take action. Every journey starts with a single choice, like signing up for this event and attending this early morning chat with me counts as one of those steps. By the way, so you can check something off your to-do list. Finally, once again, protect your freedom, cultivate gratitude, guard your joy, pursue your dreams to build a life that radiates from within. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you guys listening. This is one of my things I'm checking off the list. I was terrified to do this. I said, write a story. Who wants to hear what I have been going through? But, I'm assuming it probably resonates with at least a couple of you out there who've been in certain situations and gotten out, or you're thinking about getting out, but you're terrified, which was me. But I can't tell you how, when you cross over that threshold, it changes your life. Because like I said, I would never have accomplished any of these things if I had stayed where I was. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts or anything that they'd like to share?
Is Dr. Shelley?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And we have a few questions from our audience, Dr. Shelley. Hello.
Hi.
I want to ask you one of them.
Yes.
What advice do you have for women rebuilding their lives?
Can you repeat that, please?
What advice do you have for women rebuilding their lives?
Living their lives?
Sorry?
What advice do I have for women?
For rebuilding their lives.
Oh, rebuilding their lives. Sorry about that. Like I said, I was blessed to have an education and something to fall back on, as they say, because I was off work for 10 years. So it was coming back and leaving at the same time it was very stressful. So developing a skill, a marketable skill, will help you in these difficult times. And if you're still there, do it while you're there, so that you can have the support, so you can support yourself while you rebuild your life. I'm giving that as perspective of somebody leaving a relationship, but there are other instances. Maybe it's a job that you're like, this is crushing me. I don't want to do this. Prepare while, my mom always says, Jamaicans have a saying for everything: prepare while you wait. That is probably the best thing I can suggest to you that will help you rebuild. You have to be preparing. As I said, a dream without, without action behind it is just a dream. So I think preparing.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering, Dr. Shelley. And thank you so much for your valuable time. And be on the backstage and join the next session, please.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. And please reach out on LinkedIn.